I think it's the embodiment of the idea of that it's not the destination that matters. It's the adventure along the way.
Hmm.
I think it's just the embodiment of that spirit of adventure. I mean, it's living in a vehicle and traveling around the world, right? So you can do that in a Honda Civic, but it's a heck of a lot cooler when you can do it in a bus or a van or something like that.
Welcome to the Wilderness Wavelength Podcast. We are in it. We are live. This is another episode of the Wilderness Wavelength Podcast. Welcome to it. My name is George. Scott Sunderwald here as always.
Good to be here, George. We got two very special guests here tonight,
Oh,
Jason and Dave.
yeah, we're going to get into this. So, yeah, as you mentioned, Jason and Dave from the Alberta Outdoor Adventure Expo, just like right in our neck of the woods. Welcome to the show, guys.
It's a pleasure to
Pleasure to
be
be here.
here.
Can you guys give us like a little background, little story about what's going on and the kind of the history of the Alberta Outdoor Adventure Expo?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dave, I'm going to go back to Four Corners Expedition days. So
Yeah, I mean that's where it started, right?
it really did start back then. We did what's called the Four Corners Expedition. COVID was in full effect, and what ended up happening is we just had to get out. So they were starting to kind of loosen up the rules a little bit. You just couldn't leave the province without a bunch of restrictions. We're like, you know what? Let's hit the road. Let's hit all four corners of Alberta. If we can't leave Alberta, let's just go to all four corners. Technically, it's five corners, we've been told since, but yeah, we went out and we did it all back road. Wherever we could get into areas, we'd go and explore them. And yeah, it was an absolutely killer trip because I had no idea, like all of the beauty and just the really cool stuff that's in Alberta. So Dave and I, and we had a few others that joined us along the way as well. Um, but yeah, it was an amazing trip. So that's kind of where we started, and then after the fact, so Dave started working at Mission Overland, and we started meeting up there afterwards. Started doing a podcast, and we were going to do a podcast and kind of release it, and kind of the talk about some of the adventures and everything else. And I can't remember how many episodes we had. I think we had 7 or 8 episodes,
Yeah,
and
I think it was. I think I lost. I think we lost all of them at episode 8.
yeah, yeah, hard drive crashed. Oof,
Oh
gone.
no.
Yeah, yeah. So we are just sitting around. We are really bummed, because we had some really cool guests and everything, and lost everything. And then yeah, we're just sitting there like, well, what are we gonna do? Do you want to do another trip, or should we do an expo? And that's kind of where the thought of the expo first started coming out. And yeah, we both decided, hey, why not? Everyone wants to get out. There's no events right now. Let's just roll with it. And
Well,
yeah, we
it
started.
was, it was sort of spur of the moment too, right? Because like once the three of us at this podcast were kind of we decided that okay, it's going to be an expo, and then that same like within the same 2 hour period, we called as many friends that we knew in the business that had companies that had been asking if there was going to be something similar, you know, um, to what we see in other states and other provinces as far as outdoor adventure shows or overland rallies or anything like that. If there was something like that, would you go? And every single person we called was like, yeah, we would go.
Sweet.
And and we literally started canvassing that same night. As soon as we got a lot of yeses right off the hop off phone calls, we knew we were kind of onto something. And then we called or I messaged my friend Courtney, who I had met through Instagram, and I said, "Hey, this is the plan. Would you be interested in joining up our team of rascals and putting on a bit of a redneck adventure party outside?" And she's like, yeah, let's go."
Awesome. So, what kind of participants and displayers and presenters are you getting to an expo like this?
Wide range, wide range. So, uh, like we see bike packers, we see photographers, hikers, of course, adventure drivers all over the place. That seems it's probably the largest rooftop tent city you'll ever see.
Mhm.
And it's yeah, it's just fishermen. We have like we've even had some of the pro fishermen from Bass Pro come in and do courses, and yeah, I would say just about every cross section of the outdoors crowd has been there and kind of come to the expo.
Yeah, we've
This
also got lots, like one of the beautiful thing about the grounds is it's quite large. And so you get this dispersed camping sort of vibe throughout the entire grounds. We've got four ponds that are stocked with trout. So you can like fish for trout, you can learn how to fly fish, and the courses that we bring in too are pretty packed. Like there's a lot of skills training that happens at Expo. Like if you want to learn how to tie a fly, you can learn that at Expo. If you want to learn how to build a spinner bait or a chatter bait or something like that, you can learn that at Expo. We even had one year we even had Terry Grant Man Tracker come out and put on an actual man tracking course.
oh
Like
wow.
how do you track people through the bush? So yeah, we try to include as many aspects of outdoor expedition and travel as you can possibly imagine.
The bushcraft courses, I have to say, are super popular.
Very
So
popular.
we get actually a couple different presenters on the bushcrafter end of it. Actually, that'll both will be here. So there's oh, what's his name? Was on um, episode or season one of
The
Robert Edwards is his
Edwards,
name.
Robert
Yeah.
Edwards, yeah.
Yeah. So he does some really amazing courses. So he's going to be there again this year. And then Apocalypse Preparedness, they do some pretty cool stuff. They're going to be there as well this year. So it's going to be a pretty cool year, I think, again.
That
Man,
sounds
Yeah, it's
great.
really fun, eh? Because you get all the overlanders, like you get all the rooftop tenters, and then you get like the really big overlanders, and then the RVers, and everyone's camping in their own way. And then you got the bushcraft team, and they're sleeping like in the dirt or on the picnic bench. You know,
Yeah.
you get a good
yeah,
cross section.
In a hammock. Yeah.
yeah. I love
Oh,
it.
not even a
Yeah.
hammock. It's like, oh, here's a pile of rocks and a tree. Yeah, that's good,
Yeah,
folks.
they'll just sleep on the grass, man. They're
Yeah,
great that way. Yeah.
yeah, it's
I,
pretty cool.
I was camping at the grounds there last week and I was out there for the rodeo and we were like camped right in front of like one of the trout ponds and then there's people like camped
Yeah.
way back in the bush there and then there's like a little field. Man, it was great. So we should mention so this is at like the Medicine Lodge rodeo grounds area in June
Yeah.
19th
That's
to the
right. Yeah.
21st this year. Yeah, I mean, man, this is like such a cool experience. You guys keep bringing up Overland. Something we haven't got into on the podcast. I know both of you are passionate about it. Can you give us like a little like inside scoop? Like what is overlanding? What do you got to do to get involved in that? What is that scene about?
It's a bunch of people that
Yeah,
like to camp.
Jay, you can take it.
Yeah, that's really what it is. I mean, um, there's so many aspects to overlanding, I guess, or camping. Um, but essentially it involves, a little bit of adventure driving and usually getting to a camp spot where nobody else is around and because it takes a little bit to get there. Um, the true definition of overlanding is when you start crossing like international borders
Mm,
and there's people like that that actually come to the expo as well. Some of those people will have as fireside presenters, that type of thing, and it's really cool to actually see all the different adventures that they do. I mean, there's been people that take their vehicles and they're in Iceland going to some really cool places off the F roads out there, and yeah, people who are traveling across South America. So you get a cross section of just about everything. It's kind of neat to see, actually.
I was just going to add to that, and I just think that, speaking to the question of what is overlanding, I think it's the embodiment of the idea of that it's not the destination that matters, it's the adventure along the way.
mm,
I think it's just the embodiment of that that spirit of adventure. I mean, it's living in a vehicle and traveling around the world, right? So you can do that in a Honda Civic, but it's a heck of a lot cooler when you can do it in a, a bus or a van or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, there seems to be a real international trend with that. We live on the scenic route to Alaska through the Northern Rockies here, so often I see folks from Germany, elsewhere in Europe, and they're coming with their giant Mercedes Benz. They got these big fat tires on them. They look like they could crawl through a river. It's amazing stuff, and they're coming from all over. And they must take those things then across on a ship and try a different
Yeah, you
continent.
can ship them. There's some are a lot more difficult to ship to other continents than others because I mean, as long as you can fit it in a sea can, you're generally pretty good. But outside of that, you do need to start looking at special considerations and shipping cargo and stuff like that.
So walk us through the type of vehicles. They must range from small to pretty damn big.
Yeah, anything from a lot of Neva to a full size F550 that's set up for, global touring. You could have literally everything you can think of. A school bus down to a Toyota Yaris. But the if you're looking at broad global travel, you realize you're going to be on the road for months, if not years, even. And so that's when looking at the full body, full size overland setups, houses on wheels that can drive over a mountain kind of idea.
Yeah. I got a would you rather question actually based on some overlander trip. So would you rather overland down through South America or overland through Europe?
South America.
How come?
I'm gonna go South America as well.
How come?
Yeah.
Um, I've been there. I really like it. I would go back in a heartbeat. I met some of the coolest people in my life that were overlanding in South America while I was backpacking through South America.
Mm,
And then the fishing. Actually, those two things exclusively, probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
For me, it's been on my bucket list for a very, very long time. So going down and traveling through Chile, hitting Patagonia, huge on my bucket list. So it's gonna
Mhm.
happen.
yeah.
Sounds like a lot of freedom down there. And Dave, we're itching to get into some of your backpacking, but I don't want to get into that quite yet. The overland vehicles, they so often feature on these apocalyptic type movies, right? End of the world
Mm.
stuff. Mad Max, The Road, some of these zombie apocalypse type things. So, do you find that there's a strong following in the prepper community as well as the adventure community? Is there a crossover? Like, who's buying these things and why?
It's a huge cross section. So you get people who have retired and they want to go out and they want to travel. So you get them, they'll buy their F550s, do their habitats on the F550s, and off they go. So you get that end of the crowd, but you also get the people who are into the bushcraft, so you get that cross section, really into adventure stuff. So they probably have adventure bikes on their vehicle as well as they're going down, so they can do little side trails, probably go and hike a bunch of mountains along the way. So you get that kind of cross section, and then you get people who they just want to go see the world, so they're gonna do whatever they can afford, and off they go.
It would make for a very good bug out vehicle, right? If things got really bad, people must have thought about that during the COVID crisis. And, you know, it's always nice to be prepared, right? Play the what if game. So I got a goofy would you rather. Bear with me, fellas. We're going to dive into a silly one here. Would you rather take your favorite overland vehicle into a Mad Max world or a
Mm,
zombie apocalypse?
mm,
Both are bad, but
mhm.
you got to choose one.
I would say the ball joints on my truck tell me that I'm closer to the Mad Max world already in its build. So I'd probably just wear tighter leather and go with Mad Max.
You got to get the right outfit for that. Yeah.
Exactly.
I've been looking around. I heard Zora is a great place to shop for Mad Max stuff.
Awesome.
I might pick up some black eyeliner while I'm there too.
Yeah, cool. So you can really off-road with what you've got there, Dave, hey? You don't
Yeah, I
need
can. I drive an
gravel.
unconventional truck for what I do. I drive a Nissan Frontier. And yeah, I think they're pretty popular with the preppers as well. Maybe not so
Hmm.
much as a daily driver as a prepper, but I would suspect that the average prepper will have, overlanding equipment and an overland build of some kind as part of their full loadout, their full kit. Um, and you know what? It probably I would argue that it's probably one of the most important pieces of kit you could probably have as a prepper because it's going to serve you for, depending on your situation, picking gear up, dropping gear off. It can be an ambulance, if it really needs to be, and then at the end of the day, it can always be an emergency shelter. So I try to be as prepped as possible with my truck, but I would say, yeah, I would definitely say Mad Max
Mad
for sure.
Max. Okay, cool. How about you, Jason? What are you doing? Mad Max or zombie apocalypse?
Oh, it's a tight. That's a tight question. I'm gonna go zombie apocalypse. I'll take the other side of it. Yeah.
We we actually did a zombie apocalypse podcast a few months ago. I just remembered that, and we were
Oh
talking
yeah.
about crowbars or baseball bats, and also we should have gotten into the vehicles, George. We never really touched on the
Yeah,
vehicles.
man.
Yeah, yeah. You got to listen to that one, but gets a little crazy. How about you, George? What are you doing?
Man, I love the Mad Max like movies, like the new ones even. Just it seems so deserty, like there's no water. Whereas like in
Yeah,
the zombie one, I got water. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go Mad Max. I feel like I can make a pretty cool rig there.
yeah.
Dave, you brought up that your rig's like ready. So are you? I'm just curious, like, are you solar paneling? Like, what's your power supply and how much power do you got if you get out there?
Sure. Yeah. So I run for power. I've got 100 watts of solar that live on the roof of my Yucca pack, and that feeds two 100 amp hour lithium batteries inside. And then I'll carry about 10 gallons of fresh water,
Yeah.
and then I have plenty of electricity to do more than enough. I could probably weld with the amount of power that I'm running right now.
What?
Wow.
How long do you think you'd like? How long would that truck be going for then? Like, would you have?
Indefinitely.
Yeah, you just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, with 200 amp hours of battery life, and based on the consumption I've seen over the last few years of owning it, I mean, I'll never run out of power.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the season. If I'm running a diesel heater and I'm only getting 4 hours, 6 hours of sunlight a winter,
Right.
um, that changes dramatically, especially because it's lithium. But if it's summer, like now that it's spring, I won't plug that truck in until sometime in probably March.
Well, I was going to ask you about the seasonal use of these vehicles. Is this primarily a May to September thing, or are you going year round with your
Jay
vehicle?
Jay goes year round. We all go year round. Yeah, it's
You
it's
betcha.
um it's not easier in the winter. Anybody that does winter camping or anything like that knows that the process is not as relaxing as it is in the spring and summer, but I mean, you're the only one out there. You really want to know what it feels like to be in the backcountry, far from anything. Go in January and -20 down a sketchy service road and pitch a tent, and you'll realize how it feels to be alone in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big winter camper, so I do a lot of hot tenting and sleeping in
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
quinsies
yeah.
or lean-tos by the fire. That's my jam. So I love that world, but I've never done it in a vehicle. How are you
It's a little
staying
more
warm in
breezy.
there? Is it propane, diesel? What are you doing for heat? Wood?
All of the above. I mean,
Yeah.
most of us are running diesel heaters now. Jay runs a pretty simple process because he still tent camps um, as an adventure traveler. So he's got buddy heaters and all that jazz that he uses too.
Well, and the nice thing when you're tent camping too, you can you're relying a little bit more on your sleeping gear and your clothing setup and everything, and it's if you look on my YouTube channel, I'm actually tent camping in -40.
Mm.
And yeah, as long as you're prepared, you're fine. And it is actually really enjoyable and really fun, but you have to be prepared because the consequences of not being prepared will bite you real quick.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Can't mess with the cold, man.
Yeah, Jason,
No,
tell us about
it's a
Overland
good start.
Alberta then. That's your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's just a channel that I started. I'm not a full-time YouTuber, but I just started it because it was fun and wanted to share some of the trips that I did and yeah, that's essentially what I started doing. We're doing a few more live sessions on right now, and I'm gonna make that a regular thing just because you get people who ask a lot of questions, so it's nice to kind of answer them and also get feedback from other people who join the live and they they've been doing they've got a lot of experience to offer as well, so
Yeah,
kind of cool.
I love that. And so, Dave, you also brought up Yucca Camper. So that's your like you're making tents for trucks is kind of your business.
Yeah, more or less. That's what you're looking at behind me there. That's one of them.
Oh, sweet.
So I started this company the same roughly the same time we started Expo. And and up until recently there was no Canadian manufacturers of pop-up truck campers of like the canopy style.
Yeah.
So the ones that sit on your truck like a canopy and then pop up. And the ones that you could buy, they were more canopy than camper. And so I wanted one, I wanted to buy one, but I couldn't decide on what I wanted. And I had been building trailers for 3 years. So I figured I could just build one. And so I um, designed one from scratch and I loved it. And I decided to start a business doing them. And that was about 6 years ago now.
Sweet.
So for our listeners who are thinking about them, tell us about the
Mhm.
pros and cons of that setup over a typical tent on the ground.
Sure. It's going to be different strokes for different folks, essentially. But if you're trying to convince someone to come out with you who doesn't normally like to go camping, it's a really good middle of the road option to get your significant other out with you. Gets them off the ground, gives them hard walls around them, gives them a sense of safety. The Yucca Pack in itself is superior in the way that it provides storage. So inside of a Yucca Pack, you've got about 300 liters of storage available to you. So you can keep it on your truck without it consuming your entire truck box. Treat
Mm.
it like a truck canopy. So, and then keep all your camping gear in that dedicated storage locker. So if you're at work and you don't want to bug home, you can keep, the basic things that you would need in there for a weekend out west, and then just boogie off from the office or from the shop or wherever you're working.
Are they fairly easy to set up?
Extremely, yeah. I build two separate models. I build a Safari, which is a full pop, the whole roof goes up, and then I built a sport model, which is just a wedge style pop up. And the longest it'll take you to set up is about a minute and a half, and the longest it'll take you to tear it down is about the same.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
they can come insulated and everything like that, so they're great for year-round camping as well.
Okay. And you were saying about safety. So are they safer for, let's say, a bear country than a typical tent on the ground?
You know what? I'll kind of say it this way: if a bear wants to get in, he's getting in.
Yeah.
Um, it is a little bit harder, but I mean, a bear standing up on his hind legs is usually taller than you anyway.
Yeah.
But it does give you a lot of sense of comfort. It gives you a bird's eye view. Whether it's
Hmm.
safer, it's as safe as you can be sleeping in a tent outside in the forest.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've had situations where sleeping in the tent, there's been things come up and sniffing on the side of the tent, and I'm like, I'll just let him. Hopefully, he walks away.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think I would have preferred to be in a Yucca pack at that point.
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
you
Me
do
too.
feel safer. Like I don't know if it's a sense, I don't know if it's a false sense of security, but it certainly is a sense of security.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've had bears come at my tent at night too. And the danger is that they're going to just go on top of it and flatten it. Right. So I think that'd be
Yeah,
a
that's
little, that,
usually the yeah. Yeah,
That's how they
exactly.
get in. They don't unzip the fly.
No.
So in that case, if they're standing up, it'd be harder for them to use that
Yeah, they would
method.
have to climb up instead of crashing on, which is the
Yeah,
main benefit. Yeah,
might give you a few more seconds there.
maybe. It depends if you're sleeping with a chocolate bar or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Speaking of bears, Jason, you said you've been chased by a bear. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. So I grew up on a Texas Longhorn ranch and always used to go out, check the fence lines and everything. And so I'd be mostly on horseback. I'd go out but yeah, there's been times where I've been chased by bears. There was one time I was out. Remember those old big red quads,
Mm.
Yeah,
the three wheelers?
Yeah, the trike.
The
My dad
trike?
had one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So we're out there, we're bombing around, we're checking the fence lines, and all of a sudden we come around into this meadow, and there's a moose with a baby calf, and she was pretty protective, and she comes right at us, full on charge. I had my younger brother on the trike behind me, and full throttle. We're just giving her, and that mama moose was catching us,
Oh
you know,
man.
faster than the trike could go. I look back, behind the trike, and all I see are these two hooves coming at me, and I'm like, oh, she's getting closer. Managed to get around a corner, and then kind of where she lost sight of the calf, and then all of a sudden she turns around because she wants to protect the calf. But yeah, I've had a few interesting situations for sure.
Boy.
That leads me to a would you rather I had. I actually had, would you rather be attacked by a black bear or a bull moose in the rut?
Mm.
Oh, black bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think black bear. I might in a rut. I don't. I have a slight chance that I can inflict maybe a little bit of pain, and it depends on. I guess it depends on the size of the black bear too. I don't know. That's a tough one.
The
It
moose is
is.
so much bigger, it's going to do so much damage.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna be blunt force trauma. Like,
Yeah.
I still think it's the black bear. Yeah. Damn, that's a hard one.
Yeah, if there's a good climbing tree, I'm taking the moose. But if there
Yeah, it
isn't,
really
that's
depends
a
on the
tough one,
circumstance, doesn't it?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I do have a would you rather too, actually, while we're kind of in the tent zone here. So, would you rather share a campsite with an extremely curious grizzly bear for one night or a swarm of mosquitoes inside your tent for a weekend?
Oh, that's savage. Obviously, the mosquitoes.
Depends
I
on the
think.
mosquitoes, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't
Dave,
know, man.
remember?
An overtly curious grizzly bear is not. I mean, shoot. We don't have malaria in Canada, thankfully. So I'm gonna go with the mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes, yeah.
So if you watch our videos, so Dave has his own YouTube channel as well, and he's got his version of the Four Corners Expedition, and I've got mine. There was one night where these mosquitoes, where were we camped on? It was a river up north.
Yeah, it was the Red River south of Lacrete, actually
Yeah.
directly south of Lacrete. Yeah.
And just massive mosquitoes, like massive mosquitoes. And sleeping inside the Jeep. I have my bed and everything in the back, and I can't figure out how these mosquitoes are getting into the Jeep, and it turned into a literal bloodbath. Um, I didn't realize how much blood I had lost until the next morning when I look around and there's like blood all over the windows
Oh man.
and, and yeah, a whole night, man, I was just smacking them. What they were doing is so on the Jeep on the soft top, you get the Velcro, and they were finding their way through the Velcro and getting in through the Velcro.
Wow.
Just aggressive, super aggressive. So the whole night long, I was cussing and swearing and smacking, and wake up in the morning and there's just blood everywhere.
And of
Um,
course, you're trying to keep a scentless camping experience for the bears, and now your tent smells like human blood. That's just not good.
yeah,
Well,
oh, it was,
it's heavy. It's heavy black bear country up there too,
yeah,
right? Like, 'cause you've got the Hayzama Lakes Wildlife Preserve not far from there. So, I mean, they're there in large numbers too.
I think I scared off any bears that might have been coming around with all the cussing and swearing I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think you might have scared
that's
off
it.
some of the Mennonites too.
Yeah, I think so.
They weren't trying to get in the tent, were they?
Well, they probably saw the blood and went, ah, I'm out.
Yeah, what's going on in
Yeah.
there? Yeah. What was with the like the four corners that you guys did of Alberta? Was there like some spots you're like, man, I got to get back there, like on the bucket list to head back to, or any spots that you recommend for someone to go check out?
That's a great question.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
There's definitely some. I say if you haven't seen the Red Rock Coulee in Alberta, you need to go see it at least once before you die. It's the closest thing to Middle Earth that you're probably going to see with your own eyes. It is a stunning backdrop.
Where's that at?
It's southeast, no, southwest of um what's that national park down there?
Waterton?
No.
Because there's
Not
a Red
National
Rock
Preserve.
Canyon there, but this is different, hey?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the Red Rock Coulee. It's like it's famous for these giant red boulders that have been left after, hundreds of thousands of years of erosion. And they've exposed these giant red boulders, and there's just a massive, you look like you're on a different planet. This massive expanse, this big bowl.
Hmm.
It's just stunning. It's hard to explain. Words don't do it justice, but it's called the Red Rock Coulee. It's in Alberta, and it's probably one of the most majestic views we have that isn't the Rockies.
what's
Wow.
really cool about it when we were there, we're looking at all these rocks, but you could see the Sweetgrass Mountains across in Montana. But you're
Oh,
looking down this coulee and this huge field. And at the time we were there, there was like mist and fog coming into the field. So that's why it really looked like it was like something from Middle Earth, and you see the kind of the peaks of the mountains on the other side of the border. It was really cool.
so you might be close to
Yeah,
writing on
we
stone
thought there would be
there.
like four. Yeah,
It's east of Writing on Stone. It's
Okay.
closer to the Saskatchewan.
Nice.
yeah. What's that? What's the hills that shouldn't be? What's the hills? Cypress Hills.
Cypress Hills.
It's
Cypress
near.
Hills.
It's near Cypress Hills. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sweet. Yeah,
And Cypress Hills is on my list to go back to this summer, probably.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that place is stunning too.
yeah.
Gonna stop by, hit Red Rock Coulee, go hit Cypress Hills, and I want to go and investigate the history because there's so much history.
Hmm.
Especially when it comes to cowboys versus Indians and that whole genre. There's a whole massacre in Cypress Hills, and I want to go investigate the history of it and learn about the whole area. I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, the Fort Walsh area there, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. What else in the province? Like you got around. What surprised you? Maybe stuff that wasn't
Oh, I'll tell you
Banff
what
and
surprised me.
Jasper.
Did you know that Alberta has a giant suspension bridge?
Is that the one by Drumheller?
There's one by Drumheller.
No, it's north of Edmonton. So I don't even remember where we were. We have been on the road for like, I don't know, I feel like 6 hours. And we started winding through, it might be cutting through the Badlands where the Badlands start, maybe, but way north. And I come around this bend through these foothills, and I swear to God, I thought like I had like teleported or something, because there's this giant white suspension bridge that I only ever saw anything like it in like Vancouver, like the bridge that connects the mainland to the island. Um, it just blew my mind. I didn't realize Alberta had something like that here.
Huh.
But yeah, giant. We have an unfathomable amount of bridges,
Yeah.
and one really cool one.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I know, Jason, you got quite the story too. So you're like, grew up in BC, or spent some time in BC, and then you did some like wildfire fighting out there too.
Yeah, I was a RAP attack firefighter. So For people that don't know what Rapid Attack is, the helicopters would fly in, so people would rappel out, and they'd start the fire line before the fire crews got there. So first response firefighter essentially. And yeah, we ended up doing some pretty cool fires, especially we're doing some really cool ones, out in the Horsefly area, in the Caribou Mountains, and yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff. So you have to be trained on how to take over. You don't have a pilot's license, but if the pilot gets knocked out for some reason, because you're going into some treacherous situations sometimes, they train you on how to take over the helicopter and stuff. So
Wow.
that was technically the first job I ever had, and it was some really cool experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for wildfire. All four of my boys do wildfire and have done wildfire, but they got into the program after RAP was discontinued in Alberta. They were on the hack crews, and now one's on the unit crew. But quite the camaraderie, and
Yeah.
they just love it. Once it gets in your blood, you'll never look at a helicopter, listen to the sound of a helicopter the same way. They just go running outside, and they want to be in where the action is. So yeah, that's great. Now,
Yeah.
BC still does a smoke jumping program too, right? Where they're actually jumping out with parachutes.
Yeah, I do believe they still have something going. They've changed a lot over the years. But I still think they do have something like that rolling.
And did you have a fairly safe experience with that, Jason, or were there some close calls or things you learned the hard way doing rap?
Oh yeah, heck yeah. There was lots of really close calls, where I learned to really listen to the people with experience, because what they say can save your life.
Mm.
And I was chasing part of the fire line, and I was busy hosing down, just kind of trying to set a little bit of a line, and all of a sudden I hear this screaming from the hill up above me, and I turn around and I look, and this tree's coming straight for me, like straight for me. So I just drop the hose and I just book it, and there's branches whacking me as I'm running, and then I look back, and exactly where I dropped the hose, that's where the tree landed.
Oh man.
Wow.
So it was an interesting situation, and yeah, I got yelled at a little
Wow,
bit
dude.
about
That's
that.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because technically I shouldn't have been there. I should have been up with the crew, and that was my first time learning I should be listening to the people with the experience. There's another experience I had where I was in with the line, and we're busy mopping up some stuff, and there's this one tree. I hit it with the hose, and it literally explodes because it was burning on the inside. And of course, the water difference, the temperature difference, there's like a little bit of a gaping hole on the bottom. Just poof, it exploded, and ended up getting a little bit of burnt from that one. But it freaks you out when that goes, because you're not expecting it, right? And it's a huge explosion when it goes. There's so much pressure from the steam buildup. Um, and then there's one time we were on the fire line, and this is just an example of how hot it gets sometimes when you're on the line. You don't realize it, and then I felt like there was a bee stinging me on my head, and I'm like, oh, and I went like this, and my helmet came flying off. Went to go pick up the helmet, and where I hit it, bent up. It was starting to melt. That's why I felt like there was a
Wow.
Oh
bee
wow.
stinging me. But yeah,
Jeez.
it's just it was cool. Definitely not something I think I could do in my age now. Definitely a young man's job, but it was good with the experiences, because everyone had some sort of an experience, and at the dinner table at night, and they fed you well too when you went out there. You,
Hmm.
you had some good food, and yeah, we'd be talking about different experiences and stuff, and yeah, it was cool. The camaraderie was pretty huge.
Yeah.
You have to get pretty good with the chainsaw too, right? I bet you were running saw quite a bit. And
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
still get out with the saw at all, Jason?
Oh
Or is
yeah,
it,
yeah. I've
yeah,
got a mount permanently on my Jeep for ones. Now it's more for firewood, but yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We
Awesome.
uh, we asked we posted a Instagram question there the other night. So we asked which outdoor skill would you love to learn this summer? And I know like at the expo you guys have people coming out teaching skills, bushcraft, that sort of thing. So some of the responses that came in. So Monty wants to know, Scott, where you catch all the big fish at. So if you got any tips for that.
He'd have to rip out my townnails first
Yeah,
before
you're
I'm
not
giving
giving
him
away
that
those
Yeah,
secret
information.
spots.
that's a very expensive course. Very expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Andreas wants to know he's looking at hand loading his own hunting ammunition. So he's looking for to do that this summer, learn that one. Jeff wants to start a fire with a bow, do some of that bow drill. And Ryan, he wants to get into making his own gill net and net needles. So yeah,
Oh,
what
that's
kind
cool.
of what kind of courses are you guys like? What's going to be at the expo this summer? What are we learning?
If I remember correctly, I think Robert Edwards is doing a fire starting course. So, um, and I think actually that is one of the actual methods that he uses is using the drill.
Okay, sweet.
But yeah, he's got a few different ways of doing it. It's actually pretty sweet to watch him.
Yeah. You guys got an archery range there too?
Yep.
Cool. Like
Um,
what else is happening at the expo then?
So like we'll like there's so oftentimes what we'll do is the archery range will sort of double as a teaching area for other classes as well. So like we'll actually have primitive hunting skills.
Mm,
So, archery would be part of that course, but it could be also, using an atlatl or whatever the heck it's called, an atlatl, an
Addle,
atlatl,
yeah.
at Laddle.
atlatl. That's what it is.
That was Robert
Um,
Edwards, actually. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they'll teach you how to use an one of those, and what else will they do? I mean, yeah, primitive fire starting. One thing that what I would like to bring in more of is actually primitive foraging, making food with what's available. One thing that I want to learn how to do more is more foraging, more wild cooking. So we might try and bring that up. We also have Stop the Bleed train on how to deal with certain stop the bleed situations. Maybe not so much trauma hacking or anything like that, but something that'll save your life for sure. Um, what else? We got Rennie from Off Grid Trek coming out. He's a big prepper, and he's going to go through comms, so mobile communications, off grid down, power down situations for solar powers and systems, stuff
There's
like
two
that.
Rennies. One Rennie's going to do the comms, the other Rennie's going to do the solar power.
Yeah, yeah. So we got lots, and we got even more than that, even because the amount of people that come down there, like the people that show up, they've got years and years and years of experience, right? So, and it's a very close knit event. So, like you'll be able to ask these guys questions because you're going to see them wandering around the grounds, you
yeah.
know.
Well, Edson Fish and Game will be there too, and they usually bring their targets for archery, and they'll do different fishing things and whatnot. But yeah, they're actually going to be
Yeah,
doing, I think, a pancake breakfast as well. Is it Saturday or Sunday?
I think it's Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah, so Edson Fish and Game, they're going to do pancake breakfast on Saturday. So definitely some
Yeah,
cool guys. Actually,
Sweet.
they do some really cool stuff.
You guys are really selling me on this. I gotta make it out there. What are the
it's a good
dates on
time,
this
man.
again?
Yeah.
What
When is
what
it?
yeah, the dates.
It's June. It's the weekend of June 19th.
June 19th.
June
Yeah,
19,
and if
2021.
yeah,
Okay.
19, 2021. And if you have someone that you want to, get behind the wheel of an overland truck, we also do a lot of skills training for 4x4 driving, vehicle recovery, lots and lots and lots of stuff. I would love to get some more hunting um, representation at the show as well eventually.
Yeah.
Um, so lots of options.
Something that I don't think we've actually mentioned is we're actually sponsored by Ineos Grenadier this year.
Yeah, that's a big
And
move.
they're so if you don't know what an Ineos Grenadier is, Google it right away, check it out. They're a really cool new vehicle. It's what the Land Rover should have been, I guess, is the best way to say it. It's a really cool rig. And so they're in a lot of the auto shows and pretty amazing vehicles. All manual switches, not any digital screens, any of that type of stuff, triple locked, you name it. And
Mhm.
and they're designed for world travel. Like there's YouTube channels out there that use the Ineos Grenadier to travel all over the place. And so anyways, they're coming to the expo. We have the 4x4 course that we've set up, and they're going to allow people to take these things out on test drives on the 4x4 course. And speaking of the 4x4 course, we're going to have ARC driver training out there. They're going to run a couple of courses as well on the driver training course. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun time.
Man, that's sweet. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. What do you guys have any skills you're working on? You want to learn this summer? Anything that you're trying to get better at? Anything on the bucket list you want
Bushcraft.
to learn? What is it?
I'm always into learning about bushcraft.
Bushcraft.
So, yeah, I
Nice.
definitely want to get out there and figure out kind of how to live off the land a little bit more. And, if the zombie apocalypse does happen, I'm
Yeah.
going to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
It's an insurance policy, man. Yeah, I taught survival and bushcraft for many years, and I would go around the room. We had school teachers, RCMP officers, military personnel, bush pilots, gold panners, you name it. And so many of them just wanted the knowledge, right? The more you know, the less you need to carry, and nobody can take that from you. It's
Yeah,
a,
it gives you a bit of a freedom.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on that note, Dave, we wanted to get back to your backpacking through South America. Speaking of freedom.
Hmm.
So, how old were you? How'd you start backpacking, and where did you go, and what would you recommend for folks going to South America?
Oh man, so I started backpacking in when I was probably 13. When I was or whenever, however old you are when you go into grade 7, because my mom put me in a school local here to Lacombe that had an outdoor pursuits segment to their high school, and they would do 3 backpacking trips per year, one like non-overnight and then 2 longer overnights. So the very first backpacking trip I ever did was the Peter Lougheed Provincial Trail. Um, that starts in Field there, the trailhead in Field. And that was the first time I realized that there are actually human systems that will take you from the highway back in behind in the wild where the mountains actually are. And as a kid, I was like, that's just crazy. So I had my dad buy me like a really crappy world famous backpack from Canadian Tire. I had a Coleman green propane tank stove, single burner stove, and a Coleman pup tent. And I thought I was the coolest kid ever because this was all my own gear. And I had one of those aluminum, those really crappy aluminum mess kits.
Yeah,
I had one of those as well, and I just loved it. I nerded out on the geeky backpacking gear stuff and fell in love with backpacking, and it became a staple in my life ever since. Now it's more so river hiking for into fishing holes, and there's a purpose to it more so than just the meandering, the wandering of the mountains, which I still miss. I'd love to be able to do it some more. But eventually, as I got older, work kind of took over, and went to college, and I had to pay off student debt. So I went into the oil patch and accumulated an ungodly amount of vacation time that I had to take, otherwise I'd lose it. And I was working for a very generous employer at the time, and so I just made a call and I said, "Hey, I really a bit and just hike around, so I'd like some time off." They let me use the company uh, like charter program to do it. So I didn't charter my own jet, but I was able to like use the company accountant to book my flights and everything. And so I called them and I was like, "Yeah, like I'd like to start in Peru." And they're like, "Well, when do you want to go?" And I was like, "Tomorrow." And they're like, "Are you for real?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, let's do it as soon as possible." And so I had my bags packed in less than 24 hours, and I was on a plane heading towards Florida. And then I don't speak a lick of Spanish. Speak some French. It's a similar dialect, so I thought that would be enough to get me through. And landed in Lima and took some really sketchy car to my first hostel. Pretty sure I was like the guy knew where he was going clearly because he was taking lots of shortcuts. But it's funny how shortcuts don't feel like they're shortcuts when you have no idea where you're going. You've never been there, and you're driving further away from lights and civilization. Starts to feel a lot more like a horror movie. But I did eventually get to the hostel. Met some cool people there, and that started my love affair with South America. I ended up spending about a week in Lima, just kind of walking around. It's crazy. What's crazy about South America and other parts of the world like it is that you have modern cities built on top of ancient cities, right? So in Lima, there's this giant sprawling city, and then like in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the city, there's like these fenced off areas of like ancient ruins that are 1,000 years old.
Mm.
So there's so much history that you can kind of go and research, and the food is unbelievably difficult to beat. Um, and I don't know, it kind of stole my heart. And so I ended up just living out of a backpack and hopping on chicken buses and getting picked up by random strangers and booking tour buses to get from one place to another. And then I think some of the one of my best memories is I booked this mountain biking trip down an active volcano, and we got into this 1970s Land Cruiser loaded with bikes that were clearly from Walmart somewhere about 20 years ago. Um, and we're going up this mountain, and we're going up to such high elevation, right, that by the time we get to the top of the volcano, you can't actually breathe. So like you bend down to grab the bike and you stand up and you feel like you've smoked 10 packs of cigarettes and you're well out of shape. And there was this couple, they were like 76 or 75 years old with us. And I've mountain biked quite a bit, right? Well, I mean, when I was younger, I mountain biked quite a bit. And I felt pretty cocky. I thought I was gonna do pretty well. And I broke one of their bikes by accident. And then on the second bike, I'm halfway down the volcano, and this rocket just goes like buzzes right past me. And as my eyes kind of settle through the dust, I realized like, that's that 70-year-old man. I was like, what is going on here? And then all of a sudden, his wife just like, just bolts right past me, and I'm just like, okay, God has just humbled me, and that's okay. That's an okay thing. I get to the bottom, and we're all talking, and it was a great time, and I'm handing the guy an extra $80 because I feel bad about breaking his bike, and we ended up talking to this couple, and yeah, like they sold a business about 15 years ago, and they were driving around the world in this giant converted like semi truck with a like a what a body job is, obviously, right, guys? A triaxle body job.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a triaxle body job that they had put this giant sea can on it, and they're basically driving around the world, and they have been for the last 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
And that's when it dawned on me. I was like, wait, you can drive here? And and then I came home and I was like, okay, hold up. You can do backpacking in a pickup truck. And that's sort of when I got obsessed with overlanding. I was like, I didn't know you could take two things that you loved and make a cool adventure baby out of it. But I guess you can do that, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. So when you were down there, did you feel relatively safe? Did you find people were generally gregarious, helpful? Did you find any shady
Yeah, I
people?
mean, I think anybody that travels the world, or honestly, and by that I just mean like without some sort of intention to
Hmm.
to to get something out of it, I think you realize that there's shitty places. Oh, can I swear on here? There's shitty places in every city. Um, and if you're a decent person, generally people will warn you before you get there.
Mm-hmm.
And even in some of the worst places, there's still really good people. And generally, people don't want to see other people get hurt. So I'll tell you a really quick story. We were out late, really late, um, one night in Arequipa, and um, me and this buddy of mine, we fancied these two girls that we were with, and we were all vibing really well. So we decided after drinking, we're going to go and find some food as if it's, as if it's Edmonton and we're going to find a McDonald's that's open or something. We ended up walking for a really long time. We find a loco pollo, which is crazy chicken, which is like it's a fried chicken place in South America. And we ordered some food, we got some food, and then this taxi driver pulled up and was like, "Hey, you guys don't look like you belong here. And you're in a part of town that maybe you shouldn't be at a time you probably really shouldn't be there." And we kind of led with our gut and trusted this guy. Keep in mind we had two young women with us, right? So like me and Buddy had to make a pretty quick and difficult decision. Do we get in this car and with a stranger? It's really what you're not supposed to do. Or do you stay in this seedy part of town in this rundown chicken shop, clearly looking like you don't belong there? And so we got in the car. He took us back to the hostel. Everything was good. And you know what? Like I said, there's good places everywhere. There's bad places everywhere. There's good people everywhere. There's bad people everywhere. And these places also rely heavily on tourism, right? It's a really big part. So you usually have the support of the average Joe and law enforcement for the most part. So don't break the laws. Don't be a dick, right? Don't go down there and start doing weird pranks and stuff like that. Don't piss people off. Be respectful, and you'll be safe. Yeah, very safe.
Yeah, well, that's some good advice. As far as stuff you can't control, like your health, how did that fare? Some people just get rocked with the water and eating the lettuce and vegetation there. Were
Yeah,
you
you
pretty
want to be
good?
Yeah, you want to be mindful of it. A lot of the areas that we were traveling in, they use a lot of raw fish and raw eggs, right? Ceviche is a really popular meal down there. That's basically fish that's not cooked. It's just cured in lemon. And the acidity cooks the fish and kills the bacteria. But you do have to be mindful of it. If you're drinking a lot of pisco sours, which is made with egg whites, you're probably going to have a bad time unless you have a pretty strong gut. You're going to be in a hostel with someone who has salmonella. It's going to happen. I guarantee it. You just hope that it's not you. I would recommend drinking some really good Alberta pond water before going, just to, as a vaccine, as a good start.
Some
And then
beaver
you should
fever.
be good.
So we're using
Yeah.
water. Are you using water tabs or water filtration system or
It depends if you're going deep enough in, like if you're going to be doing a multi-day hike with a group, I recommend tablets. I actually recommend the drops. They're a lot quicker and they're just as small as the tablets are. They take a little less time to purify your water. Or you can carry a pretty decent microfilter with you that's got a carbon, aspect to it that's going to help kill some of the bacteria. But outside of that, if you really want to get paranoid about it, just carry a life straw with you. Those attach to most water bottles. And clean drinking water is really important for people because it doesn't always come out of the taps, which
Yeah.
means 9 times out of 10 it's available at any bodega.
right?
Yeah. Man, I want to go down there now. I'm inspired.
You should, man.
Yeah, Dave, would you go? Are you thinking like maybe do a drive like from Alberta down to South
So that
America?
is the goal. Yeah, yeah. I made that decision a while ago, actually, probably before I even came back. After I realized that you could drive down there, I thought, that would be actually something really cool because I'm so close to the Arctic Circle. I can just, drive for a couple days and be up there.
Hmm.
So I do want to complete the Pan Am at some point, but I'm ambitious, man. I want to do 1,000 other cool things too, and whichever opportunity to do them presents themselves first is kind of what I take when I go. So.
Yeah, I
If
love
I
it.
do it when I'm 73, then I do it when I'm 73.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Go tomorrow, Dave.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to. I would so go tomorrow. I would
Let's just
walk
make
it
the
all
call.
in.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys got planned for the summer? Jason, you mentioned you're gonna do another trip down southern Alberta, like Red Rock Coulee. Any other trips lined up this summer so far?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely planning on doing some more trips. I want to do Something that is a little personal pet project of mine right now. I want to create a BDR in Athabasca. So up that way, there are thousands of kilometers of trail all over the place, and just some amazing spots that you can get to up there. And what I want to do is I want to create a network of trails that'll literally be, hundreds of kilometers long, and it would probably take like 5 days to do the whole trail, and I'd love to piece something together and call it the Athabasca BDR.
Mm.
There's just so much stuff up there, so I'm
You guys
gonna
know
be
what
doing a lot
BDR?
more
You guys know
exploring.
what BDR stands
Backcountry
for?
Discovery Route. Yeah, why don't you tell our
That's it.
listeners
Yep.
what
Yeah.
describe it
It,
for us? What's a typical BDR?
So BDRs typically started with a lot of the single track guys, adventure bike guys. And typically, so like down in the States, it's a very common thing. They'll have BDRs where like the Oregon BDR or the Idaho BDR, and it's trips that they'll put together. Canada actually has a BDR, kind of what is it called? The Trans Canada Trail?
Yeah.
No, it's
You,
the Trans Canada Adventure Trail.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
the
There's
Trans
two.
Canada Adventure Trail.
So would the Great
Yeah.
Divide Trail fit that as well? Would
Yeah,
that
I
be a
would say the
BDR?
Great Divide would. It's more of a footpath, but
Yeah.
a BDR is essentially like a multi-day backpacking route, but for a vehicle.
Yeah, off-highway, big bike friendly,
Yeah,
motorcycle routes. Gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
It's big in the adventure biking, which by the way is another one of my goals is to get set up with a full adventure bike setup.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, I think, one of my next purchases is getting into the adventure bike. And I used to ride bike when I was a kid, so I'll have to relearn all that again and pretend that I know how to ride, and away we go.
Yeah. Yeah, those BMW bikes are pretty famous for that, aren't they?
They sure
There's a
are.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kawasaki, Suzuki, KLR. I mean, there's lots of brands you can choose from.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at a
But yeah,
KLR right now, and with the price of fuel, it's really looking attractive.
yeah.
Oh yeah. No kidding. No kidding.
I love it. Okay. Did you have another would you rather, Scott? I was just
I
going to,
I did. Yeah,
yeah.
we've got to give some of our classics because people are they're gonna complain if they don't hear it.
Hmm.
So Jason and Dave, you're lost in the bush, backcountry Alberta. Let's say summer.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be nice to you. Um, you've got your clothes on your back, and you can choose a knife or a lighter, and you're like, yeah, let's be a little harsh here. You're 200 Ks from the nearest village or
Mm.
town. Knife or lighter, what are you taking? That's all you got.
Dave,
So,
we've been 200K plus
Yeah,
before, so that's not a stretch
that's
out
not
of the.
daunting. Yeah,
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 yeah.
it's an easy one for me. It's knife.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, for
walk us
sure. I can.
why there, Dave.
Well, if I had to make a knife, I'd need to find some obsidian, and I'm not too confident I could do that depending on where I'm at if I'm in the bush. So that's probably not going to happen. I can start a fire if I can get some wood. A knife gets me wood easier. That's my logic train.
mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, a lighter's only as good as it is anyway, because if it's a Bic lighter, then the moment it gets wet, it's almost becomes useless. Um, yeah, with a can-do attitude and a good knife, I can get a fire going for sure.
yeah, yeah. And this is not a right or wrong answer. The reason we love this question is it kind of sheds light on what people are most comfortable with, right? Jason, how about
Hmm.
you?
I definitely go with a knife. A knife you can feed yourself with. You can create fishing rods. You can fire is if you know what you're doing, you can create fire. So having a Bic lighter, other than creating fire, what else is it going to do for you? So I would go with the knife. I think it's definitely more multi-purpose and gets you a lot more survivability.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it is the summer, right? If it was the winter, I'd say that I might invert that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we've often said too. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Winter's unforgiving. Without dedicated fire, you're in big trouble. Do you guys
that's
have an
right.
everyday carry knife that just your favorite fixed blade maybe, or what do you
Yeah, I
take
do.
with you?
Yeah, I recently purchased a custom made carving knife. So it's a single handle. It's about a 4-inch blade maybe, and it's got a sharp taper to it. So if I was desperate, it would make a good spearhead.
Mm.
Um, it packs well. It just sits in a leather sheath. And it's got a nice wood handle, so I really like it. And then I generally have a small knife on my keychain. I've also got a small flashlight on my keychain. Um, and then a Leatherman that's usually what I'm carrying,
Yeah.
at least on my belt.
So
Well,
my favorite knife is Dave actually got it for me as a gift.
That's
Blue
not a knife.
Flames.
That's not.
Yeah, it's a beautiful knife. Now, that said, I usually like to sit at the camp and I just stare at it. It's so beautiful. I love it. But I don't beat it up. I got another knife for that. I call him Frank, and I just beat the hell out of him.
poor Frank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Will there be knives for sale at the Adventure Expo?
Ooh, that's
Oh,
a good question. We'd have to look at the vendor list to see. There historically has been. Um, I think Blue Flame Blades came out last year or the year
yeah.
before that. But it's
I've got.
possible.
I want to say there was a knife maker. I don't have it actually on here. I don't have all the booze on here. I just have the classes. So I can't remember, but I want to say there is a knife maker that would be coming out.
Yeah.
Great.
You guys do have an Instagram going for it, AOA Expo, and you also got AOAexpo.com too, so people can sign up for camping. Are you guys still looking for vendors too? If someone wanted to like listen to this, want to become
Yeah,
a vendor?
absolutely. Actually, we would love if some of the vendors from the Hinton and Edson area were to join us. I know we often hear after Expo, vendors, some of the businesses are like, "Oh man, I really wish I would have known
Yeah.
that this was happening here." And we try our best. We do radio ads, we put up posters, but at the end of the day, guys, like we're a small team. There's 4 of us,
Yeah.
and we've been doing this for a while. But we run a limited budget. This is a grassroots kind of event. But we do run up there. We do put posters up. But yeah, we would love some local vendors if there's some local, even some small time vendors. If you build your own fishing lures, if you're a guide in the area
Yeah.
and you want to, put up a booth, if you, there was a van, a custom Volkswagen build up, and they brought 3 Westfalias out, and they're like, I didn't even know you guys were hosting this. I went online, I bought tickets, and then I realized that it's a 20-minute drive away.
Yeah.
So we'd love to see some more local vendors like that pop in.
Yeah, Hinton seems to be really really big in the outdoor space as well. So yeah, we'd love to see some vendors from Hinton as well and see some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
There's lots of fishing lodges. There seems to be a lot of that. So yeah, absolutely. We're definitely open.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
June
There's still
19th.
some booths left too, so
Yeah. Yeah, I want to do a little I want to catch a monster tiger trout from one of those ponds there too and hold it above my head.
dude, there's some big ones in there. I'm not kidding. So here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing, is like everybody's like, there's no fish there. There's no fish there, like because they're hard to catch sometimes. And but the very first year we stocked them, I pulled out this beauty of a rainbow, man, like beauty. Took it in, gutted it, cleaned it off, cooked it for all the boys around the fire. It was a vibe.
Nice.
And
Hmm.
but man, I swear, like, and then oh my gosh, guys, like the size of the trout that was caught, if not last year, the year before, was probably criminal for a stock trout. It was so fat and huge. Like if you picture like remember the old IGA bags, like the plastic ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this guy was carrying this trout in this plastic bag because he won the Len Thompson actually sponsored um our catch contest. So we usually run a first catch wins a prize, and then the biggest fish usually wins a prize
Mm.
throughout the entire event. Um, and this thing that they pulled out was just a behemoth. It was huge. Had no business being as big as it did. It must have eaten all other 500 and some fish in there, and
Yeah.
that's the one of 12 fish left. It was huge.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Well, those ponds, they have so many bugs in there. They are so well fed.
Yeah.
They
Oh, and it's
get big and
aerated perfectly
fat.
too. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
it's a good fishing hole. I mean, heck,
If you
talking
hit it
about
right,
prepping,
you'll get one.
you wanna be a prepper? Dig a hole, fill it with trout.
I love
Um,
it.
so
Yeah.
I'd like to offer up a couple of free event passes for you guys to raffle off or give away to someone in your audience.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that. What's that? What's the best way to do that? I'll
Oh, we do a lot on Instagram, Facebook, so we'll definitely take you up on that there, Jason, and make sure
yeah.
we do a fun competition to figure that out in the next few days here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So kids are free. So it doesn't matter if you got 10 or 20 kids, just bring them all. Um, and then we'll do
Dogs
two
too. We're very dog friendly.
yeah, dogs too. We do ask that they're on a leash when you're going around the vendors and stuff like that. But at your campsite, usually, it's fine to kind of have it at your campsite.
Cool.
But we'll do two event passes. So, a mom and dad and however many kids you can pack in the van. And yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, we'll do a giveaway on our let's do that through our Instagram then, Scott. We can set that up and we'll do a little
Yeah,
tag here.
let's do four. Let's give them four passes
I agree.
so that
Let's do it. Yeah, that'd be a
they
blast.
can come with their kids and then their friends can come. Let's do four. Let's
Okay.
do two
Okay.
families. Yeah.
Done. I love it. That's great. June 19th to the 21st, Medicine Lodge Rodeo Grounds. It's like, yeah, as you guys have been talking about, man, it's such a like we camped there over the weekend there and it was it's so much fun.
It's
Um,
cool because right, you can camp in that forest section, or you can camp by the ponds, or you
yeah,
can camp in the field. So
yeah.
you can get almost any camping experience that you want at the show.
Yeah, we showed up and I mean we saw like everyone's camping in the trees and we like drove a little
Hmm.
further and then we're like, hey, there's a spot right in front of this lake. Yeah, let's just park here. This looks perfect for the
Yeah,
weekend. So
absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was great. AOA Expo, follow them along on Instagram, aoaexpo.com, and then and we'll link your guys' YouTube channels too. And man, I want to check out some of these truck campers too, man. That's
Yeah, do it up, man. If you're in the market, let me know. I do bring in a cheaper economy version that we kind of put a cool spin on and make them a little better.
cool.
But if you're looking for one, man, let me know.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
have the economy version on my Warlock for the expo.
Yeah.
cool. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I think that'll be like this is one of the reasons I want to come out and like see this event too, is just kind of see what everyone's setup's looking like because there's like so many interesting way to do these things. And I mean, I'm not a prepper, but I feel like I'm starting to become a bit of a prepper. At least maybe just prepared. Like I mean, learning from Scott, the foraging and the bushcraft, and
Yeah.
yeah, the more you know, the better prepared you can be, the better when you get out there. So
Well,
um,
it's great to see
Hmm.
like all the different aspects of the same people who share the same mountain. And there always is a little bit of an aspect of being prepared, right?
yeah.
Some people take it a little further than others, but there always is that aspect, hey, we're heading out there, we want to make sure we're prepared. So absolutely, totally valid.
Yeah, I love it too because you learn from, like I mean from people like you and some of the people that are coming out is like you've spent so much time researching and working with these this piece of equipment and like I just come in, it's like, hey, what's the best version, what can I learn from you and
Yeah.
take that home, and saves you some time and you can kind of talk to someone who has experience with it. So I love the concept. Perfect, cool. Anything else you guys want to add before we wind this one down?
No, appreciate you guys doing the show. It's cool. I think you guys should continue doing it. I like when I find podcasts that you know, that post regularly and talk about insightful stuff. So it's cool to be here.
Yeah. Our listener base is like your guys's, groups too. Like I feel like
Yeah,
a lot of our listeners
absolutely.
are into
Yeah,
this, so it's perfect.
yeah.
Well, that's what we
Good.
find is we meet so many like-minded people. Just met you folks tonight, and there's so much in common. I could crack a beer and kill a few hours with you guys around a campfire
Oh,
for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
That's
Okay.
why I keep the flasks behind me. They're ready to go at any time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
that's great. Okay, and then of course Scott Sonderbold, your book Radically Wild, for sale throughout Hinton and Amazon and all over the place. Scott, Northern Rockies Bushcraft. Anything else you want to push out there, Scott?
No, just stay tuned, folks. The audiobook's coming out in a few weeks here. So for those who don't like to read, you got no excuse. Put it on in the truck and
Are
listen to
you
some.
narrating it yourself, Scott?
I am, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
It's a
Attaboy.
memoir of wilderness adventures. Lots of near-death experiences, things learned the hard way. There's a lot of humility in there, things that should have killed me that didn't, and
Thank
a good
God.
way to learn. You can learn from my mistakes. Don't have to make the same mistakes.
Yeah, or at
Exactly.
least make new mistakes.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
right.
Yeah. Keep making mistakes. Just don't make the same ones
Yeah.
again. Yeah. Love it. Perfect. Okay. Thanks, guys. Until
Awesome. Thanks, George. Thanks, Scott.
next week, stay wild.
Wilderness Wavelength.